Hello, I'm Dr. Rich Nicholson.
And I'm Dr. Charlie Macias, United States Marine.
We are really excited that you're going to come along the journey with us through Operation Legacy. 5 steps and 20 exercises for you to have a life of purpose, meaning, and happiness. Charlie, what was it like when you got out of the military?
Well, let me tell you something. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, 67 to 71. That was the Vietnam era. And when I got out in 71 from Treasure Island in San Francisco, I really didn't know my direction. But I had a couple of demons that I needed to work through, and a lot of you who have this book may have the same situation. I was fearful, I was apprehensive, I was angry, I was anxious, I was all those things, and maybe you feel that. And it's okay to feel that, because we have to be able to deal with that in our own way. Every single individual is different, and this book will help you through that process. And let me just say one more thing. I wish I would have had a book like this when I got out. It would have saved me about 15, 16 years of trying this and trying that without really a plan.
So, you know, Charlie, I'd like to point out that I know many people that were excited when they got out of the military, and they were ready to go out and start a career, but they didn't know which way to turn. Not only did they not know which way to turn, there were a lot of other details they had to take care of, like family details, housing, finances, insurance, all these things that make up a person's life that could actually derail you from identifying what it is you want to do, what it is you're passionate about, and what it is you and your family can embark on for a future of purpose, meaning, and happiness. So what we have done is put together a series of videos where we are your personal coaches. We're going to give you our own personal stories. We're going to give you some pointers and some tips, some different perspectives of each of the topics here, what you can think about, what you'll leave behind, and what you will carry forward with you that you learned in the military that will serve you well.
Right. And let's start on page 1. As you're looking at page 1, we have different people that have endorsed this book. The first one is Captain Dale Dye, retired. He's now an advisor in the movie industry. The other one is Dr. Ron Archer, that also is a consultant, and he works with a lot of military personnel in making that transition and helping them with their life. Dr. David Cooperrider of Appreciative Inquiry, and Rich and I worked with him in 2006 at a personal development consulting type with companies and organizations. The other one is William Bellegarde, and he was a corpsman, a Navy corpsman, and so a lot of folks have in common when they get out. The last two were Lisa Porcher Burke, who was the president of the university where Rich and I and Joyce attended. Nancy Santarelli is a Dale Carnegie facilitator. She knows of our work. And lastly, our good buddy Antonio Loya, who was in the Vietnam era. He was in the Army. But it's important the reason we mention them, it's important because those that endorse the book have really lived or are working with people who are going through the transition process.
On page 3, we have some very important contact information. You have the website for the VA, va.gov, and also a phone number. If you know anybody that's having a crisis situation where they need to talk to somebody immediately, the phone number is on page 3. So we want you to just keep that in mind. Go ahead.
Yeah,
take page 5, Charlie.
About the authors, you've got myself, Rich, and our third partner, Joyce Zhang, who's a marriage and family therapist. She also works with a lot of folks who have post-traumatic stress issues. And we have approximately 30 years each of experience, not only working in organizations as organizational psychologists, but from Joyce's perspective, an employee assistance program. So human behavior, transitional situations is what we emphasize here.
And again, we want to be your personal coaches. We want to have fun. That's why we tell stories. We joke around a little bit, because when you're relaxed and you're in a mode to listen and learn, that's where you'll be able to put your best life plan together. If you look at pages 6 and 7, you see the table of contents. It's very easily laid out. It starts with step 1, your mission, bridging the gap from where you are today to where you want to be. You're going to talk about your starting point. Who do you want to be in the future? You're going to cover a lot of tools and resources for problem solving, visioning, overcoming obstacles, making it happen and putting it together. You will identify your talents and skills and what you really want to do in life. and then we'll cover action planning and goal setting. So you will actually be customizing a plan for your future, for yourself and your family. It will impact you individually, family, and your community.
Exactly. You know, everyone has two major spheres of influence. When this book helps you improve and put a strategy together moving forward, when it helps you, it helps your family, it helps your personal sphere of influence, and the other sphere is a social or business sphere of influence. So as you're improving your life, you're actually improving the situations around you.
Yeah. Each one of us has a special purpose in life. We also have special skills and talents that were specifically designed for us to achieve our purpose. The exercises in this book will help you identify your purpose, your passion, and those skills that you're gifted at, so that as you focus on your strengths, you have a much higher probability of success and happiness as you move into the future.
Now, one of the one of the other things, Rich, that I wanted to mention, excuse me for interrupting, is that if you've ever said to yourself, someday, some way, somehow, I'm going to do something great with my life, despite my experiences, this book will help you.
Absolutely. I'd like to introduce two of our friends that wrote letters on page 11 and page 13. And Charlie, why don't you talk a little bit about those letters?
On page 11, you know, everything for those who have served in the military started in boot camp. It was reframing our thought process from civilian life. Typically, we join at 18 and some later. But it starts with a mindset. As we're transitioning out, we have to have a different mindset coming back into civilian life. Some serve 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, 20 years, and some 30 years. If you can imagine serving more than 4 years, we have really been entrenched in that military mindset, that military structure, and that culture. And sometimes it's tough. I don't care what rank you are, as you're transitioning out, you have the same fears, you have the same challenges, yet, flip the coin over, you have many strengths that you bring to the table. And what this book will help you do is address every aspect of your life and bring the strengths moving forward to help you.
We know that one of the strengths that you have from the military is you know how to complete the mission. You know what the requirements are, you know how to break it down, and you know how to complete the mission. That's why on page 15 we say your new mission is to treat this book as boot camp to bridge the gap between military and civilian life.
And on page 17, you have a graph that says the minefield of life. There are two sides to the minefield of life. Think about your starting point, which is today, in the transition process. On the positive side, you've got your goals, you've got the tools, everything this book offers you in order to strategically plan your steps of every aspect of your life moving forward. Flip the coin over. You've also got the obstacles that will present themselves in life. And that's losing your vision, it's losing your focus, it's forgetting your purpose. It's really just sometimes, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you, it's that downward spiral thinking. So we really have to focus and get our mindset in a way that it'll help you propel in a very positive and uplifting fashion.
You know, I know a lot of people, and probably ourselves too, they get excited about a new goal, about a new vision, and as soon as they get started working on it, before you know it, there's an obstacle or a distraction or something comes up in their life, and I notice people are just too easy to give up. They say, oh, I can't do this, you know, something came up, I'm going to have to put it off, or I'm going to have to delay it, when in reality, they don't know that you should expect obstacles, and then there's tools and techniques for going around, under, or through the obstacles. And you know, some of the most successful people have actually said that their success is dependent on them continuing to move forward in the face of failures. Failures themselves are not a bad thing when we learn from the failures and then we move on based on that learning. So I know someone once said that success is just a series of failures without giving up.
Exactly. And one of the other things before we move forward is building your foundation based on core values, your purpose, your mission, and your vision about the future. You know, one of my good friends, Tony, mentioned, he says, see the world as it is, but don't see it worse than it is. Okay, because it all starts in how we see the world, the paradigm that we have in life. And the paradigm is really just the reality of what life looks like to us. Okay.
When we look at page 18, we talk about finding your purpose in life. We do it in the context of your total life. You know, your life is much more than just getting a job. And if you have friends or so forth that come out of the military and they just say, I'm just going to go get a job and I'm going to work, you'll notice they tend to run into various different types of problems. They're not sure if they enjoy the job, it might not fit with their family situation, and it might not be something that's a passion of them, and before you know it, they end up dragging through life. You know, it's a 9-to-5 job, you're on the hamster wheel, it's a rat race of life, and we don't want that for anybody. We used to, you know, be in that same rut and live a life like that till we began to practice some of these principles where we realized you can actually be excited about what you're achieving. You can jump out of bed every morning and say, I'm going to go take the world on, and if you are in fact working in your gifts and passions, you're going to be very happy about it, and it's going to be an adventure to you. We have the life wheel, which covers family, health, transportation, social activities, hobbies, leisure, finance, education. These are all the parts that make up a total healthy person. It's not only for you, but it's your family or your future families, and it's going to make you a very vital individual, family member, and community member.
One of the other things that the Gallup organization has done is they poll individuals, teams, organizations throughout the world. And unfortunately, what they have found in these statistics is that approximately 80% of folks in any organization are not working in the areas of their passion. And why is that important? That is important because we address every aspect of your life. As Rich just mentioned, the life wheel, you're going to hear the life wheel a lot because it's just not getting a job. If I've got certain things going on in my head that I have to take care of, we need to take care of them. You know, it's the example of maybe on Friday I'm in combat. Maybe Monday I'm on the job. And I know it doesn't happen in reality that way, but this is just an example. I'm still playing those old movies. I still have those old pictures. I need to start here first and then work my way through. And this book will help you do that. It helped me.
I've also heard people say that your job is something you do while life happens. Well, our goal is to help your job be part of your life as it happens, and it makes an impact. Your opinion counts. You're going to be part of something bigger than yourself, and it's not only going to help you, but it's going to help those around you.
One of the other things on page 19 we ask you to look at is what do you do in 24 hours? How do you spend your time, invest your time, or waste your time? And let me tell you something. When I was transitioning out of the Marine Corps, all I wanted to do was rest for a couple of months and drink my beer, and that was it. Now, one of the exercises is take every area of your life wheel, every slice of the pie, so to speak, and how many hours do you invest or waste in each of these areas? So this book will help you strategically plan every area of your life, and time is one thing we all have in common. And everywhere in the globe, we always have 24 hours in a day. No one has more, no one has less. So the point is to invest your time and focus on the things that you really need to make happen as you're transitioning out.
The final part of this introduction on page 20 talks about the power of journaling. Now, journaling is when you keep a constant record of your thoughts as you're learning, as you're listening, as you're processing. That's why every other page in this book is a blank journaling page. Journaling is writing down those thoughts and key ideas and reflections that you're getting as you're learning. Many people have written down unbelievable inventions, profound thoughts. They solve problems because your mind continually works and works on problems as you're learning. It never sleeps. So we want to focus on the art of journaling. It will really serve you well. Charlie, what's your input on journaling?
You know, journaling, I was taught journaling by a very good friend of ours in the family, and we're just going to call him Jim. Jim was a global type person. He addressed business people, personal development topics. He died a few years ago, but what Jim said is, if your life is worth living, your life is worth journaling. And I don't know about you that are looking at this video and listening to us. Has it ever happened to you that you've had a thought, and instead of jotting it down, it escaped? And then as time went on, you said, hey, listen, I could have invented that because I thought about that a few years ago. That's just one little example. but it's also a form of expression. You're getting your thoughts out on paper, and that is very therapeutic. For me it was. For those of you that are artistic, I love to draw. Maybe you like to draw. Maybe you like to express yourself in writing. Well, journaling is very, very important.
So again, we're really excited that you're coming on this journey with us. We just ask you to relax, get comfortable as you go through these videos. There'll be a video for each of the 5 steps and 20 exercises. You can do this one-on-one. If you want to get a couple friends together, you can do it in a small group and talk about the exercises. You don't need to rush through the book. We want you to really reflect. We want you to really think about what this means to you, so you can put together a blueprint that's customized for your future, so you can transition to a civilian life of purpose, meaning, and happiness.
Right. This is a workbook. It's not like a novel. You don't read it once. As a matter of fact, we want you to treat this as if it were your life's manual. When you go out and buy a car, you get an owner's manual. Well, this is your owner's manual. Okay? And so that's the way that Rich and I and Joyce want you to think about it. It's your owner's manual. And we make 2 guarantees about this book. If you have this book and you apply it and the principles in it, they work. If you have this book and lay it down on the desk, the second guarantee is that it'll gather dust. And we don't want you to do that. So be optimistic, be excited about your journey, because it not only has helped us, we live what we teach, and it'll help you. Thank you.
Thank you.